Welcome to the introductory presentation I gave at the Community and Marketing 2.0 Summit at the panel titled Walled Gardens versus Open Platform. Panelists have been Sebastian Galonska, he is developer advocate at VZ-Net Netzwerke Limited, and the most known network of them is probably studivz. And Jason Goldberg, who is the Chief Product Officer of the business network Xing, which you probably know. My name is Christian Scholz. You can find me at mrtopf.de, and I'm a board member of the Data Portability Project, as well as a co-host in the Open Web podcast, which is a German podcast, and the Data Without Borders podcast, which is an English-speaking podcast, both about the topic of open web and data portability. So what have we been talking about at this panel? Here's a little video which might give you an idea.
You log into Facebook, Gmail, Twitter, YouTube, Delicious. You log into LinkedIn, WordPress, Ustream, Utters, Jaiku, and that's just the morning. Then you have to maintain your accounts. You create a profile, and another profile, and another profile, adding your contact details, adding your friends, adding your contact details, adding your friends, adding your contact details. You get the message. Great, there goes half your life. Now, time to add some media. Upload your photos, your avatars, your videos, your music, rinse and repeat, again and again and again. Net result? Network fatigue. Your data locked up in someone else's hands. Everything's changing. The Data Portability Workgroup brings together a distributed file system for data, bringing existing open standards together into a single blueprint. Data portability is all about creating a free-flowing web totally within your control and privacy. What does that mean to you? A free, open, remixable web where your identity, contacts, relationships, personal details, and media are free to follow you wherever you go. Join some of the biggest companies in the world in the conversation today at dataportability.org. Data portability. Connect, control, share, remix.
So let's look at how this could happen. So first, let's look how it looks today. So we have some social networks, here are a few, and on each of these social networks I have to create an account, which means I have to create a user and a password, and I have to remember that, of course. Then I have to fill out a profile, as you see in the video, and I have to find my contacts, and this is all the same on all these social networks. So there's no sharing between these social networks, which makes it annoying. So we are in the walled garden scenario. So how could this look differently? Let's look at these social networks in a different context. In this concept, we have only one set of data. We have one account and one profile, and all these social networks just share this information. And each user then will have a list which basically points to where information is stored about him. Let's say we have Flickr for the photos, we have Delicious for bookmarks, and the networks below here can simply point to that information and retrieve it, of course, only if the user authorizes it. So if we look at the social graph, which is one part of this data set, it's the same. So right now we have the social graph copied on each of these networks, but of course we also want to move this social graph out of the networks. It also makes sense of the networks because it means a better user experience, which leads to better quality of the social graph because it's just not so annoying to synchronize all this information, or it's actually not necessary to synchronize all this information among several networks because it's just there then. And for the vendors, it means there are better utilization opportunities. Imagine a rating site or something. You don't have to create a social graph on your own. You simply use the social graph which the user brings to you. And another thing is important, it's that quality is more important than quantity, or in social networking terms, it means that it's more important how active and how engaged your visitors are than how many users you actually have. So it does not depend on where the user come from, it depends on what they do on your site. And thus you should make it as easy as possible to get the user to you. Yeah, that was the little introduction, and after that the discussion followed.